What's going on, good people? What's going on? Welcome to the Texas League video podcast. We have a full set of hosts this week, so I'll let them introduce themselves first. First up, our reigning leader on the leaderboard in this year's picks. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
That would be me, Coach Roberts, since I'm trying to get back into baseball mode. I'm doing pretty good, even though everybody thinks that my team garbage or that I'm picking at straws or whatever crap y'all said last week, making my picks, Mr. Morrow. But, I'm using a tad bit of analytics and a bit of heart, baby. That's all I'm doing. That's why I'm making better picks this year.
He flipped the coin. And our other co-host.
Jerad Cowan, aka the commissioner, aka I'm never going 0-6 again because I don't need the ridicule from this man over here who finally got on the winning path.
Indeed. And I am Dwayne. I hate fantasy football, Morrow. There are just some seasons where fantasy football just makes me like this is one of the most abusive relationships I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
My love of fantasy football.
Not an abusive relationship.
I broke up with fantasy basketball when it got too bad. Like fantasy baseball, rotisserie baseball, it was just too much. Like
it is, but it's still fun.
I also would have needed a PhD in mathematics in order to be successful in fantasy baseball. It felt like so, but I have somehow stuck with fantasy football, and I wish I knew how to quit you, but unfortunately, fantasy football and I are here to stay. So we would toss it over to Jerad for this week's kickoff question.
With the NFL trade deadline coming up on us on Tuesday, who is one player that you would like to see traded strictly for fantasy purposes?
From our fantasy team or from our real team?
Either one. They don't have to be on either of your team. Just a player in the NFL that you would like to see go to another team strictly for fantasy purposes.
I want to see CMC go to the Jets. Strictly for fantasy purposes.
Wow.
Because I won't have to play him again.
Now that's hilarious. Now that
I already played Chris, so I never beat him. But I digress.
That is true. Indeed. Yeah. One player I would like to see traded strictly for fantasy reasons. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts to literally anywhere with a top 12 quarterback. He is criminally underused by Atlanta. The boy is a flat out weapon. When he gets the ball, he's active. I know we all saw the highlight catch behind the back, but it doesn't even have to be a highlight. He is a underused weapon. I would love to see Kyle go somewhere that can put him to good use.
I will say that the Falcons have been using Kyle Pitts a little bit more lately. Not as much as they should, but they're moving in the right direction. I'll give them credit for that.
I mean, it's not like they could do more to use him less at this point.
This is true.
So, what about you,
Jerry? Selfishly, I want to see Derrick Henry go somewhere where the quarterback is not hot garbage.
The Chargers, we could use them.
You have Eckler.
I know, but Staley still finds a way for us to lose, so it's whatever.
But that's not the running back's fault.
I don't care. No, you know what? I changed my answer. I trade for Staley for any damn body else. I'll take a dead damn coach over Staley.
Well, you know what? You just made me switch up the question I was going to ask. Since all three of us are in a situation that we don't usually see, all three of our teams lost this weekend, right? If I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. So we're talking the Buccaneers, the Raiders, and the Chargers. None of us are currently happy with our head coaches. Who would you like to see I said, I'll give you a choice. Would you rather fire your head coach?
Yes.
And stay pat with your players, or would you rather trade for a player and give your coach another chance to make it to the end of the season?
Fire the coach. Outright. He shouldn't have been allowed to stay this long.
He's got something on the owner.
He's got to. He knew what the Spanos family did back in the day when they were slumlords to get all their millions. He knows something.
Because between 2 years ago and the timeout that knocked them out of the playoffs and the collapse against the Jaguars last year in the playoffs, he seems to be doing everything he can to lose his job. And for him to fire the coordinators, and if him to fire the coordinator was just like, dude, you gonna stand pat. Like if you still there, what's the point of switching up?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jerad, your team did something similar last season with firing Byron Leftwich, but the head coach is still there. So,
I'll take Byron Leftwich to be our coach. You can't do no worse.
Sure.
Yes, I am sure. I'm putting my name on that right now. I did, but
we had arguably the best quarterback in the history of football. And you see,
he was long in the tooth. So I mean,
this is true. This is true.
He was ready to go by the Raiders, so
so you said arguably, Jerad. If Tom Brady is not the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, who is?
Oh, I think that he is, but there's some people out here who have
Joe Montana.
Opinions.
You still
I've heard the people say Joe Montana is better, but
he didn't need a kicker to win all the Super Bowls.
I think that the Joe Montana versus Brady argument is very similar to the Jordan versus LeBron argument. People are putting way more emphasis on we won every time we went to the Super Bowl, while forgetting all the years that the Niners didn't go to the Super Bowl and the missed opportunities those last couple of seasons with Kansas City, where he didn't make it back to the Super Bowl. But Montana was a great quarterback, no doubt.
The times are also different, though, if you want to use that as a comparison, because now you breathe on a quarterback and you get a damn flag. Back then, they just got hit. It was what it was.
And most of those quarterback penalty rules are thanks to Mr. Brady and his knee injury that he sustained. Yep. So you cannot hit the quarterback below the knee once you're on the ground anymore, because Brady tore his ACL when somebody did that to him and missed the season. So, it's just one of those things. Like, I can't stand Brady and the Patriots and their fans and their so, and before we get into the picks, I just want to say how enormously happy I am that Patriots fans are back off their high horse and back to reality, because they had it so good for so long that they acted like the whole history of New England before 2001 never existed. And now, come on back to reality. Come on back. But anyway, though, so we're going to jump right into a recap of last week's picks.
Let's do that.
And somebody's very excited to jump into that discussion.
I'm just tired of week after week. Y'all just second guess me like, oh, no, well, now granted.
No. You can't.
Yeah, my team was hurting with the. Of course, I just wanted to take it personal. I got to. Of course, I don't care if it was bye week hell. I had all those damn goose eggs on the bench.
So let's start with Mathis King versus Super Mario Cristobal. So, Dr. Deuce, who is doing very well this season, sitting on 4 wins and 3 losses, and just 1 spot outside of the playoffs if it was starting today. Looking at your team, but I would like to point out, we were not wrong about anything we said.
No,
we made a prediction.
Well, I disagree, because you said Elliott wouldn't do nothing. He got me 9 points. You said Murray wouldn't do nothing. You was right. I did trade out my tight end because of what y'all was talking. I'm like, yeah, they right.
Yeah. which by the way, switching out your tight end basically won you the game. So you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So what screwed over your opponent was
It's B.J. Robinson.
John Robinson's hidden injury. And I think at some point, one of the front office people in the Falcons realized, oh, shit, we're going to get in trouble if we don't play this boy, especially since he didn't have an injury designation this week. We can't just not play him. So what did he have, 2 snaps in the fourth quarter or something like that? But then after the game, he was like, I wasn't feeling well. Well, you're not allowed to not put that information out there. But either way, it's not like he had anybody else that would have turned the tide in his favor. So congratulations on that.
Well, also starting Kansas City's defense against my Chargers helped because I know my Chargers.
I mean, that was the better play. And the fact that you had both defenses was hilarious to me. So you had to basically again just choose between which one you were going to play. Buffalo playing down to New England this Sunday also helped in your favor, because against Mac Jones, they should have done a lot more like that. Anyway, I'm not even going to get on the nonsense that is Josh Allen this season. I don't care what his fantasy points say, well, I do, but from a reality standpoint, he has got to stop playing down to his competition level every week because it's killing his team in real life and it's killing fantasy football owners that expected a lot more from him. So congratulations, Dr. Deuce, on getting the W.
Thank you. See, y'all should trust me more often, but it's cool. I get it.
Next up, we have our commissioner who had a big matchup against Company Man. Both of them sitting at 3-3. Dr. Deuce.
Well, it's kind of like how y'all said during the podcast last week. It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes. And if you thought about it, even though I know Colin isn't going to pick up against himself, Patrick Mahomes against the Chargers, he's always good for 400 yards against us. Just solid. It's going to happen. I'm trying to think of one game in the last few years where he hasn't gotten at least 400, and nothing comes to mind. So, and Kelsey always kind of seems to run his ass off against us because, again, our secondary is a little weak when it comes to him and apparently everyone else. But so that right there should have told him to go against himself. But I mean, it's hard to argue 46-9 quarterback matchup. It's like, damn, Sam Howell. But who else did he probably have? Nobody. Because like y'all said last week, I almost said the transfer portal. I'm thinking college football. My bad. The waiver wire was trash. So it's like, who you gonna get? Andrews had him a good game, which is great. St. Brown had him a good game. But it's that quarterback matchup right there. That 46-9 said it all. Everybody else was fairly even across the board, but that 46-9, that 38-point spread, yeah. And he lost by 30.
That's it right there. and Sunday was National Tight End Day. And I like to point out that both of these tight ends had great days.
Yeah, they did.
Andrews catching 2 touchdowns, favorite target of Lamar Jackson, who basically went out there and pimp slapped Detroit all up and down the field. Like, I can't believe that game was that close. 38-6, I cannot believe that game was that close from the way it looked in the first half.
Well, he wanted to make sure that everyone knew that Detroit is who we thought they were.
Right. So that is what it is. I do like the production from Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara. So that's, as a fantasy owner, you're happy to see that production from those 2 running backs as you're going into the middle of the season. I mean, not so much against Jerad can't be happy about that this week since it was his team that they put on against, but that is what it is. So Jerad, let's go ahead and get the third co-host game out the way, especially since it gave us our last the last team that was without a win so far this season got off the snide. Talk to us.
First off, you were just talking about Josh Allen, and he played down, but he did come through for 28 points, which helped the cause. A.J. Brown has been going off for at least 125 every week. Throwing a touchdown, 10 receptions. He did something. Christian Kirk, like his team just performed for like his team has had some good games this season. The matchups didn't work out in their favor. This week, I think the matchup actually worked in their favor because you had some players like Ford had 18 points before he got hurt. Like you said, it was National Tight End Day. Darren Waller put up some points. Jonathan Taylor is getting back. He's getting back in stride. He had 19. But it just was not your day, sir.
No,
not your day.
And mathematically, I had I made this change, I would have. Let me see. If I made this change, Gabe Davis swapped out for Cortland Sutton, I win. So that's a little hurtful.
Oh, I got you. I got one even better for you. I reached out to Chuck about being on the show, and he said he couldn't make it. But he did send a statement that he would like me to read on his behalf. Oh yes, there's a statement that he wanted me to read on his behalf. So I feel that I have to read the statement. Coming into week 7, there has been a lot of speculation regarding the direction of our team. First off, hats off to Devastator for a well-played game. They have nothing to hang their heads about. They just got beat by a better team this week. That also happens to boast the 4th most points in the league. As for the speculation regarding this organization, I am here to tell you that we stand behind our coach and our GM. While we are disappointed with our record to this point, the record doesn't tell the true story of this team, and we will continue to grind until the season ends. We are not wholesaling our team and will have no further comment going forward on this matter. So,
that is absolutely awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Statement out there on behalf of 2 moves, 2 balls, 1 goal.
Thank you, Chuck.
You can't make it.
I absolutely love that. That is amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay. We've had a name change for one of our teams mid-season. The former Armed Rogery has changed their name to Beg, Borrow, and Steal, and they lost to this Hanging with Hernandez. So let's see where they could have begged, borrowed, and stolen a few more points to try to get this win. Both quarterbacks disappointing. Devontae Adams. I knew he was going to get a lot of targets this week, but with Hoyer, I'm not going to harp on my team. There was no reason not to start the rookie. There was absolutely no reason not to start the freaking rookie, Aiden O'Connell. The game that we lost previously when he had his start, that was just jitters and nerves. The boy can play. We should have went with the rookie.
Well, it was a 6 sacks too, but I'm just throwing it out there.
That too. But again, even with 6 sacks, we lost by 1 score.
Yeah.
So that just tells you something. And then when they did finally pull Hoyer's old ass out of the game, all the rookie did was go in there and score a fucking touchdown. Yeah. So, I mean, hey, the reality is what it is. But just against National Tight End Day. Travis Kelce, listen, I don't know what Taylor Swift is packing, whether it's sunflowers, rainbows, kryptonite, Wonder Woman juice, or whatever. But the man has not gone for less than 100 yards since you started coming to the games. So everybody knows you play hard and you go harder when your girl is at the game. So despite all of the negative attention and the people are talking about, if I am Andy Reid, I make sure that I have my travel agent for the team, have her travel agent, have her at every single game booked from now through the Super Bowl. I don't care what she's doing. She can go back on tour during the bye week. But other than that, Sundays and Mondays, her ass needs to be somewhere in the Chiefs press box or in the Chiefs suite cheering the boys on. And you know what? I'll still take Taylor Swift over Jackson and Brittany Mahomes all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. If I never have to see creepy, touchy Jackson's TikToks again, I'll be completely okay with that. I will take Taylor Swift for that. All right. The resurgent Muff Divers has now moved into a 4th win. Jerad, break it down. Tell us how your homeboy Adden is doing these things these days.
Lamar Jackson has decided to get his life together, and as Lamar Jackson goes, his team goes. Plain and simple. Because nobody else on his team really did much. It was National Tight End Day, and Evan Ingram decided to do what? 7 points? Yeah. He wasn't out here scoring touchdowns like everybody else.
Right. Yeah, but that's good for Ingram. 7 points is good for him.
Yeah.
That might be good for him. Zach Charbonnet didn't even play, and he still won. What is it?
I mean, that basically balanced out Lamar getting injured on his third series of the game.
Yeah, I was about to say Watson up here with 0.17 points.
Well, he had 2.17, but thanks to the interception, he's lucky that second interception was ruled incomplete. He would have left the game with negative points.
Travis Etienne did perform for the shirtless wonder.
This is true.
Yeah.
So, Jared, how does it feel? How does it feel knowing that this loss is your fault? You stole that man's quarterback off the waiver wire and forced him.
No, sir. No, sir. You had the first domino in this. You took Stafford from both of us. So then I had to get a quarterback that I could play, which did me no good. So this is on you, Mr. Morrow. You were the first.
I apologize.
Exactly. I'm apologizing for nothing.
I do feel bad for him, though. I mean, because that's literally. I mean, I don't feel bad for getting my backup quarterback. Not at all. Like literally any other backup quarterback in the league could have. I mean, he could have went with Dobbs this week, and he would have won this game. So shout out to my boy No Shirt Mook. And then we have the first and second place teams. Last week, Meredith had her first loss of the season. Chris had his first loss the previous week and had bounced back. So we were facing off for first and second place. Oh, Deuce, break it down for us.
All right, so here's the funny thing. Tua did not produce like everyone thought he would. I mean, Hill did what Hill always does, but only 216 yards and 1 touch. You would think that because he's usually good for at least 20. So that's 7 points right there. Everything else is fairly even with the exception of the tight end. For National Tight End Day, Higbee didn't do nothing. 1 catch for 7 yards is like, now granted, he probably could have been thrown to more, but I didn't watch that game because I didn't care about that game. But I mean, National Tight Ends Day, you think you get your guy at least 5 catches. I mean,
at least 7 targets.
Right. And so between Higbee and if he would have got a little bit more points, we might be looking at this game very differently. Since he didn't.
Right. But that Big Green still retains her first place status in the league, but that takes her to 5-2 on the 2-game losing streak. So let's take a look at where we are in the standings. Dr. Deuce still in the lead after going 66% last week at 54 of the season. I went 50%. One roster change different, and all of this is different. I could be sitting in the lead right now. Portland Sutton, Gabe Davis. But anyway, Jared still under 40%, so I still feel good about myself.
Am I the only one over 50%? Am I reading this right? Are the stats correct?
We don't know how to read. So let's jump right into the week 8 matchups. So first up, Beg, Borrow, and Steal versus Kirkwood. Deuce, who you like in this
one? Ooh. You know what? I'm going to go with Kirkwood only because Philly versus Washington. And I think Waddle's actually going to get more catches against New England than he did last game. So, and he got CMC going against Cincinnati. Do they even have a run defense? So,
do they have a defense? Period. This is the question.
So I'm going with Kirkwood, and it's going to be much more than by 10 or 20. Excuse me. Kirkwood by 40.
Damn, that's a bold statement. I mean, I agree with you on the pick, but by 40, ooh, that's a hard road to hoe.
I'm going to give myself some bonus points if I get it right. No, I'm just playing.
No, you're not. We got to make sure I save these percentages. So I also like Kirkwood this week. Jalen Hurts got his swagger back. He everybody was talking about Miami this, Miami that, greatest show on surf, which I still think is a horrible name. But after a terrible, inexplicable loss to the Jets the week before, Philly came back out to let people know, nah, bro, we them. We are who we said we are. So great win. What you think, Jerad?
We got a sweep on this one. I'm going with Kirkwood because, like you said, that Washington defense has been inconsistent and not good. They show up for like a quarter or so, but they're not great. I think Waddle's gonna have that blow up game because Bill Belichick is gonna say, Tyreek Hill, you are not gonna beat me. We're gonna do whatever we gotta do to keep you in check, which just means Waddle and the running backs are probably gonna go off. And McCaffrey is McCaffrey. He scores a touchdown. Was it 16 straight games now, including playoffs?
Something like that. Mm-hmm. Young Wei Koo's going to give him that 40th point difference. I'm telling you, watch.
You say Young Wei Koo just going to kick a bunch of field goals? Okay. Awesome. Stranger things will happen.
Indeed. Speaking of the Washington defense, I remember saying this when he got drafted. And I just want to come back to what I pointed out. Chase Young. I said I thought it was a lot of hype that for a team that had produced the Bosa brothers, and then for him to be supposedly the next one up after them, that I didn't see it. The Commanders apparently agreed with me. They've declined to pick up his fifth-year option. So I don't think that Chase Young is going to be a Commander after this season. I think he lands somewhere else after this year. Unless he just goes on a tear and ends up franchise tag. But I digress. Let us go on to two teams that are both playing well so far this season and who essentially will swap places, or one of them would knock themselves out of current playoff position. The loser will, potentially. Both of them 4-3. Mathis King versus Muff Divers. Who you like in this one, Jerad?
I'm going with Muff Divers. The man has a 4-game win streak going. Lamar Jackson versus Arizona. Don't know what to say about that one. Sounds productive for him.
Yeah.
It sounds productive. I see he got the kicker for the Chargers. I see a bunch of points there. I just see a bunch of points being scored by the Chargers. I see just points galore. I see him kicking a bunch of field goals. I do.
This isn't going to be my final lineup, just for the record.
Let's see. I think he might be. I'll just play. Fryermuth sucks. He's on the IR now. Hunter Henry versus Miami. I can see you potentially making some changes.
Yeah.
So you're going with Muff Divers. Dr. Deuce, you going with yourself?
Of course, I'm going with myself.
Going with yourself. Let's see. Devontae Smith. And I'm saying this because I have Devontae Smith in a different league. I need him to do more. Like, they've got to throw him. I know he can't throw himself the ball, but
have you seen the Redskins secondary? I mean, the Commanders secondary, whatever they call themselves.
The secondary they faced last week wasn't very good, but they just kept throwing the damn ball to AJ Brown. So, the volume is the key. I'm gonna go with Dr. Deuce. I don't know why. I don't have no rational reason other than F it. I'm just gonna pick Dr. Deuce this week. And why not? I mean, I literally have no rational explanation. But if Devontae Smith goes off and that becomes a deciding factor, I'm gonna say it was my plan all along.
There you go.
All right.
But of course.
Hanging with Hernandez versus Super Mario Cristobal. This is not a position that Cuzzo normally finds himself in, Jerad. He is usually one of the better suited teams. I myself am also Not happy with my current position, but we're not talking about me right now. Cuzzo's sitting at 2-5. Hayward Hernandez sitting at 4-3. Who you like this week, Jerad?
Who is Hayward Hernandez's backup quarterback, by curiosity? Because Brock Purdy's in the concussion protocol.
And he doesn't have one.
Didn't have one. Yeah.
That pick easier.
Unless he go, let's see. Let's find out who is the 49ers' current backup quarterback.
Jared Cowan.
Let's find out who this poor soul is. Oh, you're gonna love this. Sam Darnold is the current backup quarterback for the 49ers.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, I forgot he was there.
He is there. So, you know, with him going into the concussion protocol on Wednesday, does not make it look good for him playing on Sunday.
No, I don't have, like you said, you go into the concussion protocol on Wednesday. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna play on Sunday. So I'm going with Super Mario Cristobalin because they playing the Bears, and the Bears defense is not great.
Although we made them look good last week.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't see it.
So yeah, I'm also going with Super Mario Cristobal.
We're all on Cristobal, then.
Yeah, the Chargers are got to be pissed about that performance last week against the Chiefs. Along
and the week before against Dallas.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought they would have had a better showing coming off of a bye, but
coach.
Here comes Chicago, so that should be a good soft landing for this week. Acorn versus the Big Green, both sitting at 5-2. No shirt. The shirtless one would love to knock off the number one team. Shout out to him taking an L to me in our NFL league last week. But dudes, who you like in this one?
I think Big Green because Miami's going to do something against New England. Hill's going to ball out. Tua's going to actually ball out against New England, I think. And then New England's coach is going to retire.
Damn.
Has any running back fallen off faster than Najee? Besides, the only running back I can ever remember falling off this fast in recent history, besides Najee Harris, was another Alabama running back, Trent Richardson. I have never seen a running back go from sugar to shit like he has.
What about Peyton Hillis?
Ooh, that's a good one.
The problem with Peyton Hillis was he had, and I don't care, it's not politically correct, but I'm gonna say it. He was a good running back, but I do think that he was overhyped because he was a white running back. Unlike he does not have the same tool bag that CMC has. CMC has earned his status as a top tier running back. Peyton Hillis was the recipient of great blocking in Arkansas, great offensive line in Cleveland, and he took advantage of it and got paid.
Got to cover a Madden.
But he came back to reality after that Madden cover. And that just is what it is. I think that for all the love that we have for people like let's Icky Woods, right? Icky Woods is more famous for the Icky Shuffle than anything he ever did on the football field. He had 2 good seasons. But he'll always be more known for his touchdown dance, anything else he did on the football field. And so I think that's just the reality. Like Najee Harris is, yeah, he don't have to worry about getting paid because he's not. So anyway, so I'm also going to roll with the Big Green. What about you, Dr. Deuce?
Yeah, I'm going with Big Green as well.
Well, no, can't do it. I got to go with the shirtless one.
Just so we all ain't the same?
No, because like I said earlier, I don't believe that Tyreek Hill is going to have a great game. I believe, like I said earlier, I believe the running back's going to go off, and he got Raheem Mostert sitting over there. We got Swift against that trash Washington defense. We got Stephon Diggs versus the Bucks. Let me tell you, we can't cover a wide receiver 1 to save our life. If you play wide receiver 1 for your team, just start them in fantasy because they're going to have a good week. You might not have a Tyreek Hill week, but everybody's gonna look good. Drake London looked good last week.
Yeah.
And they don't even throw him the ball that much.
No, they do not. But indeed.
All
right. Did we do Big Bar and Steel versus Kirkwood already? Yeah, we did. That was the first.
Yeah, we did.
All right. 2 moves, 2 balls, 1 goal versus Company Man. So they finally broke into the W column. Dr. Deuce, do they go on a 2-game winning streak?
They do not.
That was quick.
I mean,
I
if
concur.
we're going off of our commissioner saying about his Tampa Bay lack of defense, I still don't see Allen putting up Mahomes' points against Denver. I don't.
No, that Thursday night game, and it's a Thursday night game. You coming off of a tough loss on Sunday, and you right into a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're playing at Denver, so Taylor Swift gonna be in the Denver press box doing whatever they should do, and Kelsey gonna go for 310 yards, and Mahomes gonna throw for 700. There's gonna be some Madden numbers put up against Denver.
I'm also gonna go back. I'm also gonna roll with Company Man. I think 2 moves, 2 balls, 1 goal. Had their one.
Maybe we come up with a statement for them next week. You know what? I'll even write it.
If they lose, you're gonna make a statement for them?
If they lose, I'm gonna make an official statement from the host.
Wait, we gotta find out who's Jerad. We gotta find out who Jerad picks first.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm going with Company Man because
okay.
You got Mahomes just torched me for 46. If he don't go for at least 46 against Denver, something is wrong.
Right. Indeed. And so we come to our final matchup of the week, a matchup of the hosts. Since we both know that, at least I know I'm not picking against myself, Jared's not picking him against himself. Deuce, you are the deciding vote.
Well, here's interesting. So here's a little thing for you, Debo. If you lose, you 0 for 2 against a host, bro. I'm just throwing it out there. But if
that's
I'm just looking
true.
at the game. Yeah, because he lost to me, and he lost. If he loses to you, he's 0-2 against the host this year.
He beat me already once this season, unfortunately.
Oh, did he?
I did. That's right. That was my only other victory.
Well, my bad. I apologize then. You're 1-1 right now, so don't go 1-2.
Why do I always have to have these good games against Jared's team?
I don't know.
That happened last season too.
let me see who y'all got on the bench real quick. Just curious about something.
Oh, my bench is a waste.
Y'all boys no. Is Metcalf going to play or not?
That's the question. He was a game time decision. He was a game time decision Sunday. He doesn't have an injury designation right now, but he didn't have an injury designation. Well,
you ain't going to start Love for Minnesota over whoever the hell you got starting?
Got Stafford in right now.
Like I said, you ain't going to start Love?
Probably. I never make my final roster decisions until Thursday night and Sunday morning at 11:58. That's what
I have to go with Cowan on this one, though. For the sure fact, you got Eckler and Adams and St. Brown. You ain't gonna be able to keep up with that.
We are
analytics has spoken.
We're going to sack the hell out of Jared Goff Monday night. That's all I'm telling you. Mad Max is gonna go off Monday night.
Okay,
he's gonna neutralize.
Game you watching, but all right.
All right. So
Jared Goff just
the picks are in for this week. Which games you looking forward to this weekend from a fantasy standpoint, or just for the hell of it?
Chargers and the Bears.
Chargers. Well, you want
fantasy and well, no, because you got to
come out kicking my ass
in the NFL league. I got freaking Herbert, so and I won last week because of that. So I need them to just go off again.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to, of all teams and of all the ridiculousness, I'm actually looking forward to New Orleans versus Indianapolis, because I want to see how Jonathan Taylor continues to progress. Mm-hmm. So, what about you, Jerad?
No shock that dude said what he said. He wants to see the Chargers, of course. It's his team. I was gonna say the Bucks, but we don't play well. So I'm just gonna. The game I'm looking at this schedule. Selfishly, I'm gonna check out that Titans and Falcons game strictly because the Titans are wearing the throwback Oilers jerseys, and I just want to see how it looks.
Makes sense.
Nice.
From a fantasy standpoint, I'm gonna check out that Broncos Chiefs game because I want to see how many points Mahomes and Kelsey put up.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
And also, I got to pay attention to the Monday Night Football game because I got quite a few of those players in my work league.
I'll be at the World Series, so I ain't gonna have time.
Of course.
I hope y'all caught that humble brag.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered with you peasants and your Monday Night Football from your home on your couch. I'll be somewhere watching the World Series in person.
Just saying, just throwing it out there, Y'all know I love me some baseball.
Indeed, man. Well, speaking of baseball, I will say this: baseball has had some of the best drama in the playoffs this year. Like the first, there were a lot of sweeps in the wild card round, but the both championship series went 7 games, and both of them came down to the wire. So I'm looking for. I don't care what nobody says about the markets that are in it, whatever. Congratulations to both the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, 2 teams who are returning to the World Series after both at least 12 years since they've either been there. So good luck to both.
23 and 11, but yeah.
Right. So, all right. Best of luck to everybody this week, except for Jerad, because he's facing me. So hope you catch a hot L over this weekend. Other than that, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Let's see.